This is Talha Mobile, and I've just received my latest gift from the Samsung Mobile team. It's the Samsung Galaxy S3 and I'm pretty excited about it. As you can see, seal's still not broken. So let's go ahead and open that. So just opened it up. This is the first time I'm opening it. And voila, the Samsung Galaxy S3. Oops. Thing of beauty. As you can see, it's very thin. It's got the HDMI screen, Android 4.0 quad core with the Bluetooth and the NFC, which is this kind of touch sending thing at the back. Let's look at what else is in the box. So you got the plugs, the booklets, the earphones, the battery. So yeah, let's power this up now. Okay, so just about to switch it on. I've taken off the label and I have actually switched this on before to download my apps and accounts onto this, so there is a slight disclaimer there, but you'll still notice it's very quick in comparison to other phones in booting up. So it's the standard Samsung thing at the beginning, and you've got the LED light, which is a new addition to the Galaxy S3, which I didn't have it in the Galaxy Note, and I think the Galaxy S2 as well. So yeah, that's it, switched on, unlocked and ready to go. And it's basically, as soon as it's on, it's, there's no real loading time, and I've got plenty of apps on here, so if there was a loading time, you'd see, there would be one for mine, but there's no immediate way. It's part of their kind of consistency with their laptops and everything. The moment you switch it on is the moment it's ready to use, which is kind of a brilliant feature, I think. So one of the best features of this is the way that you set up the phone. As I mentioned, I did this before, but what's brilliant is basically the moment you get it, you go into the accounts section, which comes up immediately after you boot it up. You type in your Google address and your Samsung address and your account details. And if you have an account before with a different Android phone, it will immediately bring over everything you had. That includes Wi-Fi settings, that includes any apps you had, that includes all the passwords and bookmarks you had. Really very useful. Saves any kind of hassle in terms of transferring the things. And the most important one is it brings over all your contacts. So I've just literally imported everything and it's already here, and you can see immediately all my contacts are here, and so on. So quick size comparison, the first one being the Samsung Galaxy S3, then the Galaxy Note, and finally the Galaxy Tab 10.1. What struck me is the difference between the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy Note. There isn't that big a difference, to be honest. One's 5.3 inches, one's 4.8. You can't massively see a difference immediately, but having used the Galaxy Note and having used the Galaxy S3 now, one thing you notice is immediately when coming to type, it's actually quite much easier to type one-handed. So I'm someone who does it quite a lot, so it's something that's quite straightforward to reach over to the other side. Whereas, for example, the Galaxy Note, although the same thinness, the difference in size means that you can't necessarily reach over as willingly as you like. Oops. So let's just type in here. So it's maybe a bit harder for you to hold the phone normally and to reach over to the P. I kind of developed a technique where I put it on the tip of my fingers and then it becomes a lot easier to type, but that small difference may be a lot more practical when you come to kind of use your phone on a day in and day out basis. So in terms of the phone's use, I've been basically using this quite intensively for about 24 hours to 48 hours. I took it to work, I used it on the tube, and as of yet, it's incredibly elegant and incredibly smooth. Everything I've done on this is kind of immediate, and the moment you press the button, the moment it happens. Surprisingly, it's quite a noticeable difference from the Galaxy Note, perhaps because I'd used the other one quite a lot and it's quite full up in data. And you can really feel the benefits of the quad core coming through. Maybe because it's fresh, but I think it's more than that because of the amount of apps I've got on here. It's immediate. You press something, it comes up. No real hassle, no real waiting time. So one of the best features about this is the camera, a feature that they quite regularly advertise and so on. The immediacy of the clicker is pretty apparent. I mean, look, press it, takes it. No waiting time at all, and that's a massive difference from any other camera I've really used on a phone. You've also got different shooting modes. The single shot, burst, the panorama, I think, are the three main ones which I would use. You've also got some new ones here. Buddy Share Photo, which basically uses this new tagging system which they've introduced to send the photo immediately to any friends. So you've got the burst shot, and you've got what we call best shot. So say you want to take a shot and there's lots of movement. It takes a series of photos, and then you've got them all at the bottom, and you can choose which one you like. So you can have a look through, and say you want this one, you go okay, done, and it saves that particular picture. Finally, you've got the panorama picture, which is here, and I've always thought the panorama function on these phones is excellent. So you just go, and it takes the photos. Oops. There's no real hassle. And it's all done. And it will compile it into one nice collage for you to then go and view. See, I've taken off auto rotate before, but it compiles it almost perfectly. And because of the shutter speed, you rarely get blur. I mean, this one, I kind of did it very badly. Has a slight amount of blur, but generally it's pretty accurate and pretty good. So that's the camera. But one thing as well, if you do like to use any other camera features, so the Camera 360 app, for example, this is, for example, you take a photo and it allows you to edit it immediately. It's not as fast, so that you do lose that shutter speed, but the speed of which this all reacts is just insane. It's kind of so much quicker than anything I've seen. It kind of is immediate. So another they've really talked about features is the video player and the new additions that they've done on this. Let me give you a quick demonstration. So I've got this on auto rotate, and this is a default video they've got on to show the power. As you can see, look at the colours and the variation of the screen. It's almost incredible that you can just carry this around in your pocket. It looks literally, I'm not sure if this comes out in the camera, but it looks as if you're looking at the mountains there, and the water and the clouds. It's incredible. But one thing that I want to kind of show, which for me is an incredible feature, something which I'm not sure if it existed before, but it's kind of something which I recently discovered. So I sometimes use my phone when I'm lying in bed, for example, and you want to watch a video, but it's irritating because you can only watch it, you know, like that, portrait mode, when actually you want it landscape. What they've now got is this new button here, which you press, oops, and it will rotate the video. So now it's no longer dependent on the auto rotate feature, and you can watch it in landscape mode, which is the way it should be watched. Now maybe this did exist before, but it's definitely a practical feature that I think is incredible with this phone. I think, you know, is a definite benefit for this. And obviously almost forgot to mention the camera itself, and you can film in 1080p video camera, and whilst filming you can now take photos. So if you're filming, you just press this button and it takes your photo. So there you go. So this bit is actually filmed with my Galaxy S3 itself. If you see, the motion movement of the video is actually pretty good. It's not bitty, and it reacts very well to the movements on screen. One thing it does do as well is you can now zoom in as part of filming, and can be done on 1080p. So in the past that wasn't something that was a feature on 1080p, it was only a feature on 720. So that's a massive improvement and something which is definitely useful. So to one of the most spoke about features of the Galaxy S3 is its new motion activation, and as they say, it's built for humans. So what this does is you can now do various different things simply by motioning on the handset itself, and it will allow you to kind of, for example, print screen. If you do this, it print screens it, so it's just a side swipe of the hand. You've also got turn over to mute, so you just do this and it'll mute your phone, which is brilliant. But what they do is you can, any of these ones, if you're not too sure what it is and how it works, you just kind of press to learn about the double tap. So here you try it. Let's hold it by hand, so you go. Oh, it's come up to the top, see? So, there you go. So you double tap with your thumb. And it works. Well, I guess often with motion sensors, it is the balance of how it's gonna how much it should sense and when it should get it right. So this is something you just got to experiment and see if it works and when it works and so on. And it will get better with time. One thing that is a bit irritating is some of the common things which I was used to with other phones no longer exist. So for example, the rotation of pictures simply by twisting the thumb no longer works. Which is kind of irritating, but something I guess you can live with. So one thing I wanted to highlight is the new feature that actually comes with the Galaxy S3, which is the Dropbox folder. The Dropbox is obviously a very standard app, but what they give you as part of this is an extra 50 gigabytes worth of storage. I mean, I had 20 before, or 18 free out of just referrals and so on, but now it's just like an extra 50 gigabytes to use on my phone, which is just incredible, and that's for a 24-month period. So one thing I want to really highlight is this new Google Maps update, which they've kind of brought in, which I think works really well with the Galaxy S3. It's always worked very well, but one thing that they've done now, which for me as someone who travels quite a lot, an excellent feature, you've got this now make available offline, and you can essentially download an entire region, something as large as even London itself. So if you can see that little black box outline, yep, that's an area which I've now downloaded. So what that means is if I was to take, for example, the internet off, so let me take the Wi-Fi off, and I have no phone network, so you'll quickly see that if I was to go to a region outside of it, it doesn't load. But if I was to go to London and, for example, zoom in there, it's all loaded, preloaded and ready for you to use, which makes this app just an incredibly useful app and much more beneficial to use. One thing that I just want to highlight about smartphones these days is the amount of stuff you can now do on your handset. It's almost made in some ways a laptop redundant. Facebook, Twitter and the internet is obvious things, but other things like, for example, banking and checking your balance, something that's really useful if you want to see if that paycheck has arrived or not. Other things that ping it, another form of sending things. Sketchbook, a very powerful editing tool where you can edit and kind of draw different photos all within the kind of program itself, and obviously there's Photoshop. Other things is kind of the games. As we know, mobiles are now the most used gaming platform. Useful things like SMS backup. It will automatically, every time you get text, it will back it up to your email. Incredibly useful. Things like books, movies, anything you'd normally use, you can now use on a phone. So it's kind of getting a good smartphone is very much advised, and I think the Galaxy S3 definitely plays that part.